Joined by head coach Wade Wilson, as well as Kelly Jurden and Skylar Ouellette from Texas Lutheran University. They just played in the 16th and 17th games of the 2021 NCAA Division III softball championship and finished as a national runner-up here in Salem, Virginia. Coach, will open with comments from you about today's game, please.
Game two, I thought we played well. You know, we probably scared our fans a little bit there in the last inning, but I thought Ashland pitched extremely well. We scored too quick in the first, and I thought that's what we needed to do, and then we held on. And Sky had a big hit in the sixth, I guess, to give us our third run, and that run came in handy going down the stretch. And then game three, I think we just kind of ran out of juice. You know, they got on us early in the first, and we ran out of pitching a little bit. You know, and I told the guys on the walk over that I hate conceding. I hate it. It's not in my nature, but at the point of the game, I didn't think we had enough juice left to come back and score 8 runs. And so it was a chance for us to honor our seniors a little bit more and let them go out on their terms. And I'm sure there'll be some criticism about that, but that's part of it. And we got to love on our seniors a little bit right there. And that was a special moment for me.
All right, we'll go ahead and open up to questions. We have several individuals. So, gentlemen, I'll call on you. Ask one question apiece, please. We'll start with Tim Clark here with Sports Information at Texas Lutheran.
Hey, Coach Wilson, can you just speak to your seniors and what they've meant to this program and the fact that you're able to get back to this point after losing the 2020 COVID year and what this group has meant to you?
It's been awesome. You know, I mean, with the crew we lost last year, we had 9 seniors last year in that group with the COVID year that we lost. And a few of them came back and decided to come back for a 5th year. But to be where we are right now, I don't know. I think we all have aspirations of playing for a national championship every year. That's kind of our goal. But realistically thinking about it, if we had that chance, and I think as momentum started later in the year, then we started believing that a little bit more and got hot at the right time, you know. Hats off to our kids and the adversity they had to go through this year with just the COVID restrictions and all that. And, you know, they're so excited to see their family and hug their parents' neck. It's been a while since they've been able to do that. So they've made a ton of sacrifice, and to be rewarded by playing at such a great event that they've had for us this week, it's been awesome.
We'll go to Greg Luca with Express News, please.
Yeah, for Coach or Kelly or Skylar, how do you guys describe just what it was like having to defend a national title for 2 years, and how do you summarize what this journey's been like to get to this point?
Okay.
For us, it was just a lot of fun. We didn't really put much pressure on ourselves. We were just going out one game at a time, and we knew that if we did our best, that's all that we could do. So every game, that was the most important game, and we just went out and had fun.
Any more responses from that? Good. Okay, we'll go to Eric Lopez with Fast Pitch News, please.
For Skylar and Kelly, starting with you, Skylar, describe that first inning of the game today where you scored 2 runs, get up on them. You basically drive into 2 runs there where Kelly scored, and then you got 2 runs on the play. Just describe that whole sequence there that got you off to a great start.
I think just, telling myself to calm down, be relaxed at the plate, don't tense up, but needing to score those runs at the same time. As we've seen with all 3 games, the first inning is the biggest inning for all these games. So just staying calm and staying within myself and just doing a job, most importantly, was what I was thinking at the plate.
Okay, we'll come back. Tim Clark.
Coach, speak a little bit about Ashland in the circle today. You had talked about sometime you were hoping she would have her best stuff, and it seems she really did have it today and at the early game.
It's funny. I think Ashland pitched tremendous today. I still don't think she had her best stuff. And that to me says everything about the kind of competitor that she is. We didn't see her best stuff here this weekend, and she found a way to compete. And she was so good in game 1 that we decided to throw her back out there in game 2. She just has an ability to get it up there, and they swing and miss, and they didn't hit much hard. I think they hit 2 balls hard in the first game. So it says a lot about her. I think it says a lot about the defense behind her and trusting her to do the job. And I can't thank her enough for the job she did, because I would like to be inside her head a little bit just to see what she was feeling, because I didn't talk much to her before the game. I let Coach Fuqua handle all that, and he told me before the game that she was ready to throw 14 innings. And then after about the 3rd inning, when she was probably close to 70 pitches, after the third inning, it seemed like every count went to full count. I was like, I don't know if she's going to be able to throw 14 innings at that pace. So hats off to her. She did a great job. Both of our pitchers and all of our pitchers did a great job this weekend competing.
Greg Luca, please.
I know we talked about how not being able to finish out the 2020 season was a difficult situation for everybody involved. And I'm wondering if having a strong run through the tournament this year kind of scratched an itch from last year, or do you still wonder about what could have been? Sort of what's your perspective on the big picture?
I told our kids before the game that we played in the last the last games of Division III softball the last 3 years. We were the last team in the pandemic year because we were granted a doubleheader on that Saturday after it was shut down on Wednesday. So our seniors could actually have a goodbye or send off anyhow. And then we were able to play in 19 and now this year. So we've been very fortunate to extend our seasons as long as they possibly could. And there's something to be said about that. There's no other D3 softball teams playing June 1st other than us and Virginia Wesleyan. So
Eric Lopez, please.
First for Coach and then the players if they want to chime in. Coach, we talked before the season and we kind of discussed, kind of the uncertainty, what kind of season was ahead of us. Describe the year, what it was like with the protocols and everything. And just to get to this point, I have a feeling this is a year you're going to remember with this group for many years.
For sure. And it's also a year to forget with all the restrictions that we've had to go through. But I think we were fortunate. We got to start back in January, and so many of the other schools, especially in the Northeast, with the weather and the restrictions that they had to go through, and some on the West Coast didn't get started until May. So I think, you always look back on these teams. I mean, they've paved the way for the future kids to come in, and they have a lot to be proud of, and they have certainly represented Texas Lutheran outstanding. It's been all of these kids. Got great human beings in our program, and I'm proud of the way they've represented Texas Lutheran.
Kelly or Skylar, take that question from a player's perspective.
Definitely a very different year when comparing it to 2019 with the COVID restrictions and all that. But from the very beginning, we told everyone we're going to have to lock down. And if we want to come to Virginia, we're going to have to, make sacrifices. And a lot of those sacrifices was, of course, being a typical college student. And I think we handled that very, very well. And so many sacrifices were given up, and I would do it all again.
Yeah, we definitely knew every day that we were out there practicing, we were lucky. We were blessed because we knew that not every college softball player was having that opportunity. So we just really embraced it and knew that we were some of the only teams that were able to do that. And so we ran with that, and it ended up pretty well.
As Coach kind of alluded to here before we go to some other questions, this one is for Skylar or Kelly. Talk a little bit about the legacy you've been able to set here the last several years with the Bulldogs program, winning a national title in 2019, and then being right back here with another opportunity to lift that trophy again this season.
I mean, before every game, we say, remember who we're playing for, the past, the present, and the future Bulldogs. So played here before us, this is for us right now, and for those that are coming in the future. We really, really keep that in perspective and know that it's for something bigger.
Okay, Tim Clark, any more questions?
I'm good there, JJ. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Greg.
Yeah, for Kelly and Skylar, I wonder, to what extent have you had any contact with, any of the seniors from last year's team who didn't get this opportunity, and is kind of doing it for that group part of your motivation at all? Is that something that was in your minds through this run?
Definitely. I know just the way that their season ended was more drive for us, play for them. Because at that point, we didn't know, or our season ended just so abruptly, and just going out every game, playing, our best that we can play, and just, playing for them. Like Kelly said earlier, play for something bigger than what we are.
Yeah, they're definitely our biggest fans. Every time after the games, we have Snapchats, we have messages from them, and they were cheering us on.
Eric Lopez.
Yeah, for the players first and then Coach, what has this last week been like? There's been a lot of casual softball fans that maybe haven't followed Division III or followed your program all year that have been following this tournament, especially went to the championship series in this anticipated matchup. I don't know if you've been able to notice that from the outside, and what is that like? What does that mean to you that a lot of people were interested here and a lot of eyeballs watched your program that maybe haven't before?
It's honestly just super awesome. That's the best word I can think of. Just to know that people are watching us, and we're out there doing our best. And we don't really put pressure on ourselves knowing that people are watching, but it's just more of an opportunity to go out and show them what we can do. Every time we step out on that field, we're trying to do our best. And if it's entertaining for the fans, then that works out too.
I think, I mean, we were able to watch some of the playoffs for the Division I, and James Madison beating Missouri in a ranked opponent there. And I think a couple years ago that Texas Lutheran was kind of in that role, and I don't think that's necessarily the case anymore. I think the best two teams were in the championship this year. I think that's good for softball anytime you can get that matchup. And I think Virginia Wesleyan was a better team today. Hats off to them, Coach Ouellette. They've been here, and those kids have been in this situation. Not that we haven't, but Hannah Hull is the best Division III softball player and pitcher that's ever come around. She's the winningest pitcher to ever play the game at our level. So that's a tough feat to try to beat her. So it was an honor to be on the field this week, and I thought we had a great fan base. It was fun to play in that atmosphere. The reps that handled this tournament did an awesome job. I mean, it wasn't easy with all the weather that we had, but it was a well-run event, and it was a lot of fun to be here this week. Our kids had a great experience.
If you've got them, we'll go ahead with one more question apiece. Start with Greg, please.
Yeah, Coach, what has it taken to, sustain this run of success the program has had in recent years, and, being on the cusp before that, but, how has it been able to maintain being kind of a top-ranked team 3 years in a row, and how do you project that going forward?
I think tradition has a lot to do with it, and our kids believe that they can do that. And we've knocked on the door. And I said this earlier today, and I've said it several times this week, that the team that we have in place this year, and this is not a knock on them at all, they just lost in the national championship game. It's probably the least talented we've been in the last 6 or 7 years, especially with depth. But they found a way to compete. And I think a lot of that has to do with the kids that played before them, and then them trying to live up to that. We have a high value and high standards that we try to hold our kids to, and it's amazing how kids always find a way to live up to that. We didn't talk about the national championship all year long. We were worried about doing the little things well. And I think when you do the little things well, you end up in national championships. So I think we overcame leaving some balls on the bus and leaving our bats in Texas. But I think at some point we'll talk about that. Do you deserve to win a national championship when you leave Texas without your bats? So that's part of it. So we're going to learn and try to get a little better from each of it. And this will definitely be a learning experience for all of us involved.
Eric, one more question from you if you have it.
Yeah, my last question for you, Coach. You met Kelly and Skylar there. They were fantastic throughout. What do they mean to your team and your program, and them showing the way? Got you to this point within one game of a national championship.
I can't talk highly enough about them. Skylar is even keel and always has been. She is the straw that stirs the drink, the glue that holds us together. She's always right where you need her. She's never up. She's never down. She's right there. And Kelly has been our leader from the time she stepped on here. I've known Kelly since, and I shared a picture with the team before we got up here this week of her with my triplets when they were younger. And Kelly was at the ballpark chasing my kids around when I was a high school coach in Brenham, Texas. So I've known her and her family and for a long time, and we're so blessed that she chose Texas Lutheran, and she represents us so well on and off the field. A tremendous player, and it's great to see both of these guys here have the tournament that they had this week, because they performed very well.
Well, Coach, we've appreciated you being down here and having the bats out there to be able to play and reach the National Championship Series, and again finish as the 2021 runner-up in Division III. Players, Coach, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.